Okay, this one's for the parents. This is for the parents who pick up their children in the afternoons. I feel like we've done a couple of these videos, but we're gonna do one more. We're at the Middle High campus. In addition to everything we've already covered about making sure you're pulling all the way up, all the way in, triple stacking, all of that information, you know, go up to the circle and come back around if you into the turning lane if we're backing up to the circle, all of that. I have repeatedly stated that you are not permitted to park out on Peacock or California or at the circle and have your children walk out there because it's not safe. So the last 2 days we've been getting complaints, phone call complaints from the residents of Toreno. If you are parking on Wolverine or any of those other streets behind us and you're parking in people's driveway and you're parking in people's yards, you're going to end up getting a ticket. They have asked that you not do it. I believe there's something that says that you can park in the swale unless you're asked by the resident not to. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so unless you're asked by the resident not to. I will tell you that almost the entire First Street and then the first street that turns left off of Wolverine, those residents have called and they have asked me to express to you that they do not want you parking on their swales. So this is them telling you, do not park on their swales. At this point, they are, now that they've asked you, they are able to file some sort of complaint. Yep. And you can take over from here.
If any homeowner walks out and asks you to not park there, you must move immediately. If you do not, and they take a picture with their phone or whatever and they call 911 and we get there and we can find you, they'll probably take a picture of your license plate number and say they've kindly asked you not to park on their swale. You will be issued a $35 parking citation, okay? Whether it be from me or from Road Patrol, somebody will come to your residence and issue you a citation.
So you cannot be parking on their yards and on their driveway and in their swales. Again, they've asked us not to do that. Parents, if you will follow instructions, this pickup would not go so long. I think we're down to about 20 minutes at this point. I think yesterday was like 15 or 20 minutes, which is where we were last year, which is perfect. The first week always takes a little bit longer. But those of you that are out there parking on the roads and asking your students to walk to you, one, it's dangerous for your students. Two, it's rude, disrespectful, and inconsiderate to the residents around us. And they have the ability, and have been doing, calling the city and complaining. So when residents call the city and complain that Somerset parents are doing something that they don't like or something that's illegal or something they've asked them not to do, the city turns around and calls Somerset. So what ends up happening there is that it damages our relationship with the city. And right now we have a great relationship with the city and I'd like to keep that. But what we don't want is the city getting upset with us because our parents aren't following the rules. If we decide to add another building on, because remember we're supposed to be building the gymnasium soon, so when it's time to do that, if our parents aren't following the rules, if our parents are causing a nuisance in our city's allowed to tell us we're not allowed to build that gym. Parents, don't jeopardize things for your students and the school because you don't want to sit in a driveway for a few minutes. Plan it out a little bit better. Come later. The later you come, the faster it goes. But stop parking on the residents' swales and yards and driveways, and stop parking on California and Peacock. It is not safe and it is not legal once you've been asked not to. This is your official request from those residents not to. Anything to add on that one?
Yeah, I spoke to the city yesterday and we are in the process of putting no stopping or / parking signs up out there. When they go up, if you were stopped out there or parked, because I've had people say, I'm not parking, I'm just stopping here, my car's not in park. Doesn't matter, you're stopped, you're parked in the roadway, the swale's considered the roadway, you will be issued a citation for doing so. So please, like Ms. Rain said, come at 3:30 instead of coming here at 2:30 and waiting an hour and a half. The later you come, the better it is. The line moves a lot faster.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, student parking, guys, students, you need to be backing in. If you haven't learned how to back your cars in, student drivers, you need to practice that. I don't care if you use the parking lot at nighttime to practice driving, but you guys need to be backing in as much as possible because when you try to pull out in the afternoons, if you're pulled in forward and not backed in and you're backing out, you're going to end up getting hit by these parents who are coming through. So it's just safer for the student drivers to back in as much as possible. Keep that in mind. Student drivers, don't forget, you should have already registered your driver's license, insurance, and registration with the main office, paid your parking fee, and gotten a parking tab. And Officer Leschbaugh will be starting next week. He will be going through and checking student driver cars to make sure everyone is properly tagged to be in the parking lot. So next week, he's going to start issuing those things on your window if you aren't. Okay, I think that's everything. Thank you, Spartans. Have a great day.